Hello, my name is Joanna. You can order my books on amazon.com/author/Joanna. You can listen to my songs on broadjam.com/Joanna Ministries. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Joanna Ministry, and you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter. The title of this video is Prophecies and Dreams. Now, in 1980, I got what I call a hug from Jesus. I was sitting in a Baptist church repeating an Al-Anon slogan called, "Let go and let God." And I just kept saying that over and over again, and a robed figure sat down on my right side, reached around with his left arm, and gave me a hug. I couldn't see any face, just saw a white robe and like some kind of rope or gold cord around the waist. I was greatly comforted, but it also scared me. And I really wasn't sure I wanted to get that close to God again for quite a long time. Now, in 1981, I was attending Catholic charismatic prayer groups, and I heard stories about Our Lady of Medjugorje. I believe it was in Yugoslavia. But the Virgin Mary was apparently appearing to children. I don't know if they were teenagers, but they weren't full-grown adults anyway. Her message was repent before kind of an end time kind of scenario. A lot of the women, the Catholic women, were having end time dreams, get to the safe house, fires and destruction all around. Now, in 1991, I started doing homeless ministry, and a lot of the guys were bringing me cassette tapes about end times. And the pre-trib rapture was a big deal at that time, that we were going to get raptured. We, as Christians, were going to get raptured before the tribulation, which was supposedly 7 years. Now, since then, I've studied a lot about the rapture and the 7-year tribulation and the millennium, and there really isn't anything that says that the tribulation has to be exactly 7 years that I can find, not in the Bible anyway. There's a couple of instances that are 3.5 years, and people like to clump those together and say it's a full 7 years. And the other correlation is the last week of Daniel. They try to force that last week of Daniel into a 7-year time period. But again, there's nothing that really says that has to be 7 years. It actually is supposedly the last week. So it's really supposed to be a week of 7 days or 7 years. So again, the prophecies of Revelation are continually pulled up, and it's almost like we have to try to force what we think is going to happen into those prophecies. And it seems to me, after all these years, after over 20 years of trying to see if those prophecies are being fulfilled from Daniel and Revelation, that it's our own minds that are trying to force these things into coming about. Now, over the years, I've begun to hear some people say, maybe these dreams are for us to repent and preach the gospel, not that they're supposed to be coming true. Now, around 2006, I started watching Glenn Beck on the TV. You can just Google him. I don't need to put any links in the narrative below. And he was talking about all the things that the Muslim leaders were predicting. We're talking about the 12th Imam returning, and that he was more like an antichrist than Jesus coming back. And again, the prophecies in the Muslim church and in the Christian churches kind of corresponding. Now, I was just glued to Glenn Beck for years. Had to watch him all the time, went to a lot of his events. And again, around 2012, people stopped listening to him. I think partially because things were not panning out as he was predicting. Now, Edgar Cayce, who is a very prominent psychic, states that all prophecy can be changed. And again, the dreams are still coming about what's going to come to pass, and it still doesn't pan out. So again, I want to come back to what is really going on here. There's a lot of new information about prophecies and dreams and psychic testimonies. And again, Edgar Cayce talks about the Akashic records, and which is called in the Hebrew books, the Book of God's Remembrance, that there's a huge book somewhere in another dimension, I think, that tells everything that's going to happen and everything that's happened, all of our lives. And this new Aquarian gospel of Jesus the Christ that I keep talking about is supposedly written from that book of remembrance. That it's just word for word right out of God's Akashic records. So I think we need to re-examine all of these doom and gloom dreams, because I feel like we are in a new age, that we are coming to know new things about God and the destruction of evil that may be taking place as we speak. So we'll talk again soon. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye for now.